Hello, Dr. Mark Agresti from my office in Palm Beach. If you want to look at any of my articles, go to drmarkagresti.com. I appreciate likes, subscribe to the channel. Thank you. So what I want to talk about today is a breakthrough compound that can help with opiate withdrawal and pain treatment. What it's called is SR17018. It's a research chemical, and towards the end of the video, I'll say you can get this. I've had people get it, although it's not indicated for the use in humans, and it's a scientific chemical. You can get it. I'm not saying to get it, but it is possible to get it, believe it or not, because I'm reading online on how people have got it. Anyway, it's a compound which is a breakthrough compound for the treatment of opiates and for pain management. And why is that? Well, this is what's called a biased agonist at what's called the G protein. There's the mu-opiate receptor, the opiate receptor that everyone likes, the one that Oxycontin, fentanyl, carfentanil, Demerol, meperidine, codeine, heroin, morphine hits and gets you high, euphoria, pain management, sedation, respiratory depression, constipation, meiosis, little pinpoint pupils, get you all itchy. Well, that receptor has unique qualities. It has different areas where the drug can attach to it. It has a G protein and a beta orexin receptor site. Well, this one is what's called a mu-biased opiate receptor agonist. And that's a lot. What it really means is it affects the opiate receptor that gets you high, gets you tolerance, pain, control in a different way. And it doesn't cause respiratory depression. It doesn't cause tolerance. It doesn't cause a high, but it does manage pain. It does not cause overdose. So this is a miracle. You can finally get pain management without tolerance developing, respiratory depression, and without getting high. Those things were a nightmare. Everyone who took those pills, Oxycontin, fentanyl, carfentanil, hydrocodone, heroin, morphine, well, you take enough, you got high, you got respiratory depression, you died. These don't cause that. That's really interesting. So there's more to this, and I'm very excited about this drug, and this is the future, and I pray that this drug comes on the market. And the doctor who's doing it, this is on a side note, is Dr. Lauren M. Bohn, B-O-H-N, from right here in Jupiter at Scripps Science Center. I think it's on Donald Ross. Can you believe that? It's 5 minutes from here. And the other person doing it is from Dundee, England. His name is Tim Hales. It's near Edinburgh. I think in the north of England. But anyway, these people working on G-coupled proteins and this partial agonist biased drug at the receptor site, the mu-opioid receptor site. And the advantage of this is now you could withdraw from opiates without giving someone a drug that causes overdose, without causing a high, without causing tolerance. You can also manage pain without causing tolerance. Opiates, 5 days. 5 days on any opiate, the pain management, the euphoria is gone. Your tolerance is so high, you get very minimal effect. And you need to increase the drug and the risk of respiratory depression. We all know why, 80,000 people die a year from opiate overdose because they keep increasing the dose. The pain, the sedation, the euphoria, tolerance develop the respiratory depression. It doesn't. They overdose and die. Carfentanil, fentanyl. Here's some interesting qualities about this SR17018. It kicks in about 1 to 2 hours. It has very few drug interaction. Side effects look like dizziness and confusion. So it blocks the cravings for opiates. It blocks opiate withdrawal. It treats pain and does not cause opiate tolerance. Voila. That's incredible. So you could use this now. I have spoken to people who have used this drug. It is not used for humans. It is not allowed for use in humans in the United States. FDA has not said this drug is okay to use in humans. But somehow, I know people who have used it, and somehow you could go on these websites and people are talking about how to use it. The drug has a peak plasma level in 1 to 2 hours. And in terms of dosing, well, when you convert from rats to humans, and I've done the calculations, and I've looked at what people have done, you need 12 days with this drug because of its Emax. It has a low intrinsic activity at the mu opioid receptor because it's not a powerful agonist at this G protein, which it stimulates. So it's not of the caliber of hydrocodone, oxycodone, carfentanil, fentanyl, Demerol, heroin, morphine. No, it's not like that. Has a much less intrinsic activity, means its binding activity is low. When it hits the receptor, it doesn't stimulate it that much. So if you're going to use this to come off of opiates, you need 12 days. The calculations come out to 10 milligrams twice a day for 6 days, 5 milligrams twice a day for 3 days, and 2.5 milligrams for 3 days. That's what I have come to understand. Even though this drug is not being used in humans, people are using it. Side effects, dizziness, confusion. It does reset the chemistry so that there would be no opiate withdrawal. And it dramatically minimizes the opiate withdrawal. Long term, this drug will manage pain at the same dose you start on because it doesn't develop tolerance. A lot of this is speculation. This has not been tested. These anecdotal reports online and people buying it on the dark web, who knows? But I think this is the future. This sounds great. I cannot stand opiate drugs. People die in them. I basically don't give any opiate drugs. The only opiates I give in my office are over-the-counter loperamide, which is for constipation, which blocks, which stimulates the opiate receptors in the periphery, but doesn't act centrally. You can't get high with it. And I use buprenorphine, which is a partial agonist at the mu opioid receptor with low intrinsic activity. This drug, in comparison to buprenorphine, has a low intrinsic activity, and it's middle of the road in terms of its K value, which is receptor binding. I'm not saying it's not. Buprenorphine kicks opiates off the receptor. This one, not so much. You'd have to stop the opioid, and this one will then get on the receptor. It's not going to kick them off and push you in withdrawal, which that's what buprenorphine does, because it has such a high affinity for the receptor. There's another drug, carfentanil and fentanyl, which have almost as high affinity for the receptor, meaning a low K value. Buprenorphine has the lowest of any opiate, but carfentanil and fentanyl, their K value is also very low, meaning it has a high affinity for the receptor, which is not good. So if you overdose on carfentanil or fentanyl and you give someone an opiate blocker, which is a totally different realm, naloxone and naltrexone, which have extremely high affinity for the receptor, it has more affinity for the receptor than carfentanil and fentanyl, but not that much more. So when someone comes in an overdose of fentanyl or carfentanil, you have to keep giving it and try and override the fentanyl and carfentanil on the receptor. So I worked in emergency for 20 years, and I would just keep pounding, naltrexone. Just give it. And it's very short acting. You give it IV, but you got to give a lot. So there's more to this that I want to talk about. There's another compound called 14968, which is another bias agonist at the opiate receptor that doesn't develop tolerance, that doesn't cause sedation, respiratory depression, tolerance, and does not cause euphoria. That's also an experimental drug. Less is known about that, or less on these chat rooms and on Reddit where you can look up what's going on. So SR17018 is probably the one you want to look into. Thank you. And once again, I appreciate likes. I appreciate comments. If anyone has any experience with this, please comment. Tell me I'm right or wrong or whatever you think. I've never tried any of these drugs. And so I have spoken to one person who's done it, but I've read about people who've done SR17018 and their experience. And I put together this video. So please comment. Thank you.